gonna get started, so I'll call this meeting to order at, I'm gonna call it 6:04 p.m. Members present, we have Curtis, Ben, Paul, myself, Marcia's not able to make it tonight. Others present, we have Calvin, Ashley, the Sumner Selectboard, and the good people of Sumner. Save us all a little time, group it together. I think for the joint planning board, select board section, we're gonna start with the appointment.
Sure. Yep, so now the breakaway committee, the RSU 10 breakaway committee has finished its job and needs to be redesignated as the RSU reorganization planning committee, made up of 4 members in accordance with MRSA 20 Alpha Section 1461. So, do we need to make a motion to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, probably so.
All right. So I'll make a motion that we designate an RSU, we appoint an RSU reorganization planning committee made up of 4 members.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Motion is made and seconded. All in-
Probably state the names,
Okay.
please.
So I say, we also reappoint, Mrs. Deb Farino, Mrs. Kristen Chapman, Mrs. Elizabeth Coombe, and, Mr. Jesse Wallingford. Them being the most knowledgeable and in a good place to continue on the good work for the people of Sumner to determine whether or not final breakaway from RSU 10 is in the best interest or within the wants of the people. So that's my huge motion.
3 years.
Okay.
Second.
Alright.
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Alright, motion carries. Alright, is there any other business specific to the select board? Okay. I turn it over to you, Nick. Thank you.
All right. I think in terms of the order here, it might be smart to talk about the updated law regarding planning board, CEO, and building notifications first, just because I think that's going to inform ordinances to be worked on. So for folks that were able to attend, you already know, but for folks who weren't, the planning board review that we do currently in Sumner is not permitted for 4 or fewer dwelling units within a structure and or BDUs. Meaning like pretty much everything that we approved today. So this is under the new, I think it's MOCA is the going term, but it's LD 1829 and LD 2173. So I say all that to say that we're going to have to update the building notification ordinance again, as a result of that, to point it to the right approver. And there's a couple others as well. I think there's a portion of shoreland that would have to be updated. There's some lot size changes that we're gonna have to update. So there's quite a few ordinances that need to be updated on the basis of these changes, which go into effect, I believe,
June 2027.
Yes. So we have a little runway in front of us, but probably good to get ahead of it. So I don't think the ordinance I just listed is an exhaustive list, but I think it covers the big ones. The other items that we talked about working on were the wind ordinance, as well as potentially a camper ordinance. Did I miss one? Do we have one more?
Yes.
But that binder's already coming in handy.
Maybe if I can find that. Marijuana business out.
Marijuana. So that's our proposal, but of course we wanna make sure we're aligned with the select board there on what we'd be focusing on. I think the idea being, you know, if we can go through a similar process as what we went through with this last round of updates, we'd be able to present you the draft ordinances, make sure, you know, it works for everyone, public hearing of course, and then try to avoid calling a bunch of emergency sessions basically to go through these, so. Any thoughts?
As far as with these changes, these mandates from the state, has anyone looked into whether or not now that I know we have a CEO who's funded for his time, has there been any talk from the state that says because they're mandating that all this work is now going through the CEO that they're going to provide any funds to help towns support? Being that the reason why we have a planning board that does building notifications is because it was, you know, it's hard for our small town to fully fund and provide, and not to take anything away from the work that Calvin does at all, not even a little bit.
There are grants, which are not a long-term solution
Yeah.
to a funding problem, but something, and I believe Marcia said she would take a look at what that might take to apply, but I don't think that is an answer to your question in terms of like long-term funding.
Marcia has already applied for a $10,000 grant.
Okay. And what do we know specifically what that can be used for?
Working on like the shoreland and minimum lot size and anything to do with LD 1829.
Including legal fees, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
And the planning board members.
getting updated maps and talking with AvCog or a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm sorry, it was subdivision and minimum lot size that you guys were talking about as well.
Subdivision.
Yeah,
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
So some of the ordinances still have some fees in it, I marked them with a tab, so eventually those fees, I think there's one in, I think shoreline zone that is not on the fee schedule. So those just need to be addressed, taken out of the actual ordinance and put on the fee schedule.
And the long-term solution for that just being any fee that's in an ordinance, remove it, say see fee schedule, and then the fee schedule directly reflects, because that's something that can be changed with time as needed, you know, on a quick basis as opposed to ordinance, so, okay. Alright, so $10,000 grant will probably be burned up pretty well, seeking guidance, getting updated maps, okay? But, you know, like you said, there's no long-term solution or anything from the state, okay? So, just trying to circle back, just so I have everything that you guys are looking at wind, camper, cannabis business, subdivisions, and minimum lot sizes for ordinances to update and or I guess more or less update.
Yeah, well, and building notifications, and I think site plan review is another one we have to, it's a small update, but we talked about the childcare facilities at the MOPID changes, so I think that is part of that as well.
Yeah, refresh my memory, that was you cannot restrict childcare, correct?
I think
You
it's,
cannot restrict residential
Yeah,
homes
Yeah.
to be
yeah, that's right, I recall that.
childcare.
for daycare or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, so,
But I think they still fall within site, or can fall within site plan.
that's probably something that wouldn't even really affect us, I mean, I don't think anyone in Sumner would say, I wanna have a childcare center out of my house, and it wouldn't even be an issue.
I've had one in the past.
Was there an issue with it?
Depends on how you look at it.
I heard people saying they wanted to start one, and then it was into that.
I know there's people that started one or whatever, but I don't think it's gonna be unheard of to think somebody's gonna start a potential daycare out of town at some point.
No.
Longer.
I don't.
Yeah, and like what constitutes that is a pretty low number too. I think they said it was something, was it 4?
Yeah.
Right.
If I had four. Yeah. Like if I had one more kid, that constitute as a daycare. I already do.
I think
start seeing if there's state grants for you.
I know. I think the point with the site plan update would just be, A, we wanna clarify that the specific law we're talking about is LD 2173, which says that the childcare facilities are subject to the same requirements as single-family homes. So I think we just wanna make that clear in the ordinance and make sure we have whatever, but I think for the most part, it would just fit into the existing review process.
Fair enough. It's a big list.
Yeah.
It's a real big list.
I think it'd be helpful if we could kind of prioritize it. Be a good way to tackle it. Like there's obviously, there's a good amount of runway on the MOCA changes. So we could I could make the argument, we could do those first and just get them out of the way, or we could say we wait for those and we worry about the wind, camper, marijuana items first. I don't know, I'm open to opinions there.
So I also feel that we are in the midst of a coming election where a change of policy could be enacted by a state governor, in which case this would go bye-bye anyways. So do we really wanna go twist around if we don't have to make a move on that right away, do we really wanna get twisted around the axle on it?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we have enough time to, like with the
At least
time,
one.
with the timing that these go into effect, we could do it tight and say that at the next annual town meeting, we would vote on these. Like that would technically work if it's July 2027. It's just, obviously, like if they don't pass with their legal requirements we have to follow, that gets a little complicated. There's some,
It doesn't really. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but if come June, if the town votes them down, the state still has it in place. We still
Yeah, we
follow
still
what the
follow
state
the state
says.
law.
So
it's just,
So I think I think the stuff that matters the most to us, prioritizing that, and then having I won't say town hall. What's the public hearing? That's what I'm trying to recall. Have a public hearing and then go over the changes so that it's ready to pass. The state mandated stuff is ready to pass for or not pass, but it doesn't matter. Just bring it to the town at the next annual meeting. So pretty much what you just said. Do we want to bring all of this stuff, or are there 2 or 3 ordinances that we could hammer out, have public hearings in like January and bring them to a vote?
yeah, I mean, I think the easy,
How do you feel about that? What do you guys think? Hey, technically, you're the chairman. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're straight from the battle. I thought I'd take the
Yeah,
lead.
no, I'll assume in August.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, for me, that kind of makes sense if we're gonna make any ordinance changes to be looking at wind and camper, et cetera, because the state mandated ones, whether people like it or not, it's gonna be state law, it is what it is. So their vote is gonna be, if we accept the changes, I don't see it going any other way. I don't see how that works, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Voting
using-
down and say we're not gonna follow those rules here, it's an another unfunded mandate by the state, it just is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
If it gets, whatever, if a different governor comes into place and law changes, well, then see what it do.
Change again.
Change it again, you know, but, so I think if we're gonna put any actual time into anything, it should be something that could negatively affect our town in a more substantial way, like making sure our wind is fortified.
Yeah, they're addressing the concerns that,
Constantine or whatever his
Yeah.
name was.
the
came by, yeah.
liability and so on and so forth. And then with the marijuana one, I think basically where we are with that is that the way that it was written and passed, relative to the way that the state looks at it, it just doesn't cover a lot of the circumstances around, I don't know what the right word is here, like certain types of operations, I guess. And so we should just clean that up and make sure that it's applicable to all the relevant flavors of the cannabis industry.
Right.
Question?
As a public, I'm Tim Guttertime, brand new. I bought the house on the other side of the elementary school, so
Welcome.
thank you. I have a question, observation. I said, since the political climate is the way it is, if you guys, I feel that January would be ideal for you guys to do what you guys got to do, because a lot of things are going to be said between now and November, and until the actual elections, and we know which way everybody's going to fall, because it could be a preemptive strike. Come January would be an ideal situation to do what you guys got to do to get ready, because yes, you can prioritize all you want, but in the matter of the wrong person gets into the wrong seat, that all changes. So I agree with, you know, prioritizing everything, and I think it would be good for you guys, just not to waste time until, you know, the 1st of January and then rev everything up, because yeah, like I said, everything could change. Yeah, who knows? But that's my 2 cents. And having dealt with the marijuana situation, because I was in Colorado when they did that.
Oh, goody.
You know, I had a little background on what it affected and what it didn't affect. So, you know, that's, like I said, depending on the state. I'm all just, yeah, that's my figure on it, so.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Yeah, so it sounds like we'd be in favor of, we basically group into 2 sets. We do marijuana within camper, set 1, and then mocha changes more broadly, set 2.
I agree.
Sounds good. For questions for the select board, I think my only question coming out of that prioritization conversation would be like, is there anything else, anything we're not thinking of, anything that you guys had in mind that you thought would be appropriate to add to the list here?
Should we work on that ordinance for no data centers in summer?
We could. We're lucky we don't have a mill, so that probably puts us down the list.
Right.
We don't have, well, we have a tiny bit of general development, but
Yeah. I think the
not enough, I don't think, for that.
my personal take is that where those are going to pop up are going to be any of the be them defunct or like operating mill sites where they can generate their own power. It's just not, power's too expensive here. It's probably not going to be
An issue.
yeah. But if there's a dam already and there's power generation, it's probably a good spot to put one.
And plenty of cooling water.
That's right.
While we're talking about mocha stuff and the changes that may or may not will happen in June unless otherwise changed, is there any talk about going down and taking a look at, how some of the other towns around us that operate their planning boards in a different capacity than we operate ours. Just to have like a better idea like how to function, how it works. So it being that the, Sumner's traditional, planning board duty is to, review and, pass, building notifications. If that is something that the current governor says is invalid or will be invalid June 2027, do we want to, I mean, I'm personally gonna go down and see how other people run business. I think it'd be a good idea for the planning board to consider, either as a group or individually, if you guys have time, just kind of take a look. And that way we have an understanding how other folks run it and how to go from there before we, just start making up our own thing. I mean, it's always easier to see what someone else is doing prior to.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we usually, depending on the ordinance, a lot of times we'll look at other towns' ordinances. So it might be good to start there and find one that we think is like a good fit, and then maybe try to go to that particular town.
Like it being a town that's similar to Sumner.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
To see if like, okay, like they already have an ordinance that meets the criteria we're after. Does it kind of seem like the right fit for us? Because
Oh no, that's not what I mean. I'm more talking about how the planning board functions. Like most towns in our area
I gotcha.
don't even the planning board doesn't even write ordinances, or they don't even sign building notifications. They really, so now that duty is officially divorced by the state mandate. Like going forward, how the planning board is going to function as a body.
Yeah.
Do we just want to say our planning board is something that works on ordinances, or?
Well,
That's why I was saying, do we want to take a look at how other towns do it when they have their planning board meetings?
I think that's a good idea. Like the way that the changes read, it's basically, assuming we're continuing to work on ordinances, then it's site plan reviews and over four dwelling units, is where you end up. So, but it wouldn't hurt, right, to see how other people are handling that. I'm sure we could find a town that would be willing to maybe let us, ask a few questions at their
You
meeting.
just go in, just
Yeah.
look like a normal person, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
I mean, I don't think we smell funny here in Sumner, but maybe they would know.
Maybe back to snowman.
And you guys would still be doing subdivision review, so anything with more than 3 lots, that stays in effect. It used to be anything more than 2 lots or 2 dwelling units, so if you built a 3 unit, it was automatic subdivision, and now it's not up to 5, but the land use division stays the same. So it's the 3rd lot triggers subdivision. There are a couple of rumblings of a couple of them coming our way, so.
Subdivisions, you mean?
Yeah.
You said one of the other things you folks want to take a look at was the minimum lot size. What do you mean by that?
We have to update the minimum lot size relative to the MOPA changes, so
Okay.
there's a few things, I'm probably gonna miss one, but the mix of units of like actual dwelling units and ADUs, accessory dwelling units and additional dwelling units, and then the other big one is making sure we're, like, this is out of the comprehensive plan, but making sure we're aligned to the minimum lot sizes relative to the comprehensive plan and map updates there, things like that.
Okay, so we don't have to decrease or increase our lot size, we just have to make sure that everything is at least saying the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be going into it with the idea that we wanted to change fundamentally the lot size rules, we would just wanna make sure that the lot size rules were aligned to the state law.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
that's why I'm gonna make sure it was the plan.
Yeah, same page.
Okay.
Yeah, the way the state breaks it up is, you know, mostly about water sewer, which is not a concern for us, but there's also other considerations, so we just wanna make sure we're accounted for there. So. Okay, Andy, do we-
And after going to that MOCA training, it looks like some of the things we're gonna want to ensure is done pretty quick before June would be updating our comprehensive plan, or at least sections that would be critical to maintain the integrity of the town as it is now. Because once that horse is out of the barn, we won't be able to get it back. So there's a few sections we might want to make a priority and see those changes ratified sooner rather than later. And then we can, I will suggest that the comprehensive plan committee will continue to do its work and update the rest of it.
Can you think of any examples off the top of your head?
Yes, so, in our current comprehensive plan, which is out of date, it has certain areas that are designated as general growth areas and areas that are, designated as development areas. And, due to these changes that MOCA brings the state mandate, it will potentially, a development area could bring rapid changes to our town that where there's nothing we could do to change. Now, I'm not against change. I'm not trying to be a pit bull in the rear end of progress, but we have a lot of changes happening in our school. We have a lot of congestion in our school right now as it is, and a rapid increase of school-age children to our school system could be a shock that we're just not prepared for housing. I want to consider the cost. That's not even a concern. It's we don't have a place to put a large increase of school-age children all at once. So if we review, if the comprehensive plan, with the guidance from the town that the folks who filled out our surveys did, the leanings of the town are that, development is good, but a massive, uncontrolled, rapid change potentially would not be in the best interest of the people. So, that being said, those will be areas that we will bring on to focus right away, based off of what we got, our feedback from folks.
Yeah, I think, and to your point, Jeff, like the surveys, I don't know that the survey responses align to this. The current land use plan, comprehensive plan, was written in 2006, and I don't know that they align fully to what people responded to, kind of the current state of the town, so that makes sense. All right. Beautiful. Any other questions for the select board? Paul, I'm not forgetting about you either, if you have any questions. All right, if there's no other questions, we can move on to the E911 addressing sample letter.
So, in accordance with the new ordinance that was passed, I've identified 8 roads that will need to be now categorized as a private road. So this is just a sample letter to go out to the property owners of those properties. And then a sheet behind that is for them to fill out and send back if they want input into what their road name would be.
I really like this list.
I'm sure I'll find some more out doing inspections.
Find a road here and there.
I'm sure there's more.
yeah, I mean, if we do have any others, we should try to play catch up there. From my perspective, the sample looks good, for the road name suggestion form and for the letter. I don't know if anyone else has other feedback. Makes sense to me though, and I think it's good, like it's very clear that there's an opportunity to submit the, suggested names and such, and clear that the town will provide the install, for these existing roads. So I think those are 2 big points for me that I wanna make sure got across and they're covered well.
So, question, does you guys have a preference on, I would pick a color? Blue, brown, background, the actual signed color, you wanna make sure they're
So the
consistent.
private roads would be blue.
Blue,
I do have a
yeah.
sample.
Yeah, so I did, in Durham, the town is green with white lettering, and then with the private, I did white with green lettering, and I wish I had never done that, now I wanna go back and change them all, I shouldn't have used the same 2 colors in the first, because you're trying to explain to a new plow guy, well, if you see, that's white and green, and then I get it mixed up, and if you said green and white, should be clearly something in a different color, so
There you
that's.
go. Yeah, that's very, I actually don't know that all the road signs.
So none of our private road signs right now, other than Ridge Road, are blue, but I have an order for all of them to be blue.
Okay.
And you can see it,
And we will
retro.
change that over this year.
see the little honeycomb, that's retro reflective, you see that with
Yeah.
headlights, it'll look like it's shining, and it'll look like its lights is brighter than yours. So that's all built in there, that's good.
So I did have a question as far as public easement roads. Do we want those road signs to be a different color than both the private and the town roads?
I would not.
Definitely not gonna put the town road color on there.
Yeah.
Well, right now everything's green,
Yeah,
so
yeah, no.
they are the same color. So,
Purple.
I mean, we can get gray with white lettering that's like that. We could get red.
I wouldn't recommend it, I would just say, if the town maintains it, it's this color, if the town doesn't, it's that color.
Okay, so it'd be blue, just like the privates.
That's how we do it, I wouldn't get into the weeds of giving people ideas of maybe it should be a town road, maybe it shouldn't. It's neat, if the town doesn't maintain it, it's legally a private road as of, by virtue of either abandonment or a decision by the board to pass to discontinue it. Either way, it's discontinued, it's private.
I'm all for keeping it simple.
That makes sense.
Look,
So I will reorder signs for the public easements also, make sure that they're blue, so that we have different.
why am I holding this
I
up?
don't know. Well, you like the guy that spins at the bank that
Yeah.
gets some moves.
Pizza this way.
All right, blue.
Blue it is?
Blue it is. All right, any other items for the joint planning board select board meeting before we move on to meeting minute approval? Okay. Next order of business, approval of the meeting minutes from June 16th. Seems like a while ago, we have five Tuesday month here.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I wasn't there, I can't.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Paul? You-
Can you turn your camera on so we can see your arm when you raise it?
Sounds like he's down in main control.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
There he goes. Thank you.
Alright. Paul, I think you'll just have to sign this when you're here.
It's down that steering.
Half steering.
Alright. Beautiful. Planning board minutes from June 16th approved.
Do you want a star?
Yeah, maybe do you wanna note Paul?
Maybe sign it next time.
Alright, up next, we have a building notification for Jacob Shoemaker, 187 Bonnie Road, R07023. It's a new dwelling, mobile home on an existing garage, concrete pad, with existing septic, maybe, depending on approval, where an old home had burned down. I think my first question here is, Calvin, have you had a chance to take a look here?
Yeah, I stopped over there Friday evening and looked at it, and, so, he's already got one of the buildings there, because he talked to me a month or so ago about whether the lot was grandfathered or not, and I said it
Yes.
was. The lot had been in existence prior to '88, so, per our ordinance, it would be a lot of record. The house burned, I guess, you can see from the Google Earth, you can see the debris, and you probably all know where the house is, on Bonnie Road on the right. So on the existing slab, or concrete slab where the other dwelling was, he's got one of them, and he's going to put another one next to it and connect the two of them 12 by 24 apiece and make it into a house. The septic, couldn't find anything in the files. We looked at the state, nothing at the state level, but she said his mother, who lives directly across the street, came over and said that she had, the guy that put it in is on vacation, he'll be back next week. She had it put in for a 6-bedroom, she said. I thought, I don't know if I believe 6-bedroom, but then she showed me the system, and now I do. It looks like an old landfill that was that was capped off, so it's a massive leach field. So she's gonna see if he has any records. The tank is down here where he's calling the septic, but it's actually up. So I would figure out how that's pumped or what, but, so I told him, if we can figure out the septic deal, either have it inspected and certified to me that it works and is adequate and gonna work. It was working when the house burned, so sometimes fire trucks run over them and crush them, but in this case, the leach field is way up behind, so I don't think that's happened. So he said he misunderstood, thought that when I said it was grandfathered that he could do it. And I said, well, no, you still gotta get permits. And so he's come in and given us the permit and was very apologetic. But the issue is that the current slab is only 62 feet from the center of the road, not 75. I myself think it's fine. The building he's moved it back to the back of the slab, so he's back another 10 or 15 feet on the slab to the back, so there's 10 or 15 feet of slab in the front. I should say, it's 62 feet to the dwelling, but the actual slab that's there where the house was is actually another 10 or 15 feet closer to the road, so to me, I think that's fine as far as I'm concerned. I think he's making it more conforming than what it was.
My only big question here is there's a decent portion of this that's not filled out, specifically tree growth. I assume it's not a subdivision, but the shoreland piece as well.
Yeah, no, there's no shoreline, there's no, he really didn't know how to do it, and it was like, I was basically getting headed out the door as this was coming in, so, I could help him finish it, but I checked all the zoning maps, no floodplain, no shoreline zoning, there's no, it obviously wouldn't be tree growth because it's under 10 acres, so it couldn't be, so I didn't see any other issues, but I could help him finish this. But that would be no on all those questions, tree growth, subdivision, shoreline zoning.
Yeah, I would say in a perfect world, he would finish this before we approved it. If there's a bunch of urgency there, I'd be okay to do it with conditions. Specifically that electrical shut off, I feel like we have to, if it's not checked, we should note it in the requirements, but I don't know if anyone else has thoughts.
Electrical shut-off's a great good one to know.
Okay. And the septic, that verify that the septic is, that I verify the septic is operable and
I think, the
told that he was gonna have to wait 3 weeks.
Well, we told them we didn't know for sure how it was gonna go, because you had left, and I didn't know if he would get on the agenda in time, so we told him, it could be later this month, so.
So he is aware that it could be later. I didn't send the agenda on Friday, so I just popped it on there real quick.
And if he's already got that expectation on the timeline, maybe we could just ask him to finish this, and then we don't have to put a bunch of conditions on it, and just make sure he's aligned to the shut off is a big one. And I guess the sewage disposal too, wouldn't hurt to have done prior, so. Alright. Alright, are we good to table this until the next meeting?
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to make a motion
I
on
think
that.
we should.
I'll make a motion to table it till next meeting.
I'll second it.
Alright, all in favor? There we go. Alright, Calvin, you're up. CEO report.
I didn't get a chance to type it out. Every day I've been here for the last 3 weeks or so, I've been almost thrown out the doors. People are coming in and they wanna go home, and so. But I did look into the school septic, to talk to the new person in charge down there, and determined that they are having it engineered by Mainland Development. Diane sent them an email to make sure. I did look through the plumbing code book, and they are required, even if it's engineered, for me to permit it, inspect it, and all other aspects of that, so they're aware of that now. If they were not, they are now, so. And it has to be engineered because it's over 2,000 gallons a day. And so, I guess, did we get an answer back from?
We did not.
Okay, all right, well, I'll stay on that, so. We, done some septic inspections, did the one across from, Pleasant Pond, what is the name of that road on next,
Labrador?
no, right across from Pleasant Pond, it's
The private one?
Cobby Road?
it's the old,
Oil
it's an
road.
old town road, no, it's next to Boyle.
Heathville.
Heathville Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that there's 100 and something acres up there, and it's right across from the pond, it's like 1,500 feet up from the pond, but you gotta go up, and then on the left there, you know his name, I'm sure, what was the guy's name?
Costanza? No, not sure. Oil, Bollier?
No,
Bowyer?
Bowyer's across the road,
I don't know.
I looked at that one too.
Is that the astronomer guys?
Yeah, they live out of state, and he's the executor of it's an LLC, or, you remember the guy came in here to sign the septic plans, but I had to re-sign it? Is it Cooper? Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's who I was emailing with.
He had to come in and sign the new plans.
Yes, he hasn't come in yet, but he's not in the state.
Because they put in a plastic tank when they got there instead of a concrete tank, so their designer had to redo the paperwork and send it back with the right stuff, and they had to come in and re-sign the right page, and I get there looking at this plastic thing, and what is this? I had to get the paperwork on it, of how it was supposed to work, and be put together, and the baffles, and I had never seen that before, so the designer had to investigate it himself, make sure it was legal, and so we got that straightened out, so. The 187 Bonnie Road, went out there, looked at that, measured center line, and looked at what they had proposed. The Cox property, been out there a couple of times doing setbacks, working with the septic designer there. Again, there's a form that we had to have recorded in the registry, so Cox had to get it from the site evaluator sent here, and then Cox said you can sign it and go get it recorded and brought back. I gave you the receipt, right, for that?
Yep.
They brought in a receipt for has the booking page, so that's done. And as far as laying out from the water line back, where things could go to the sides, and so I guess as far as I know, that's moving forward. They did end up having to shorten the house up because the approval was for 44 feet long, but that put them very close to, because of where the septic is, and the setback to the septic pushed the house way down towards Corson, so they decided they didn't wanna be that close, so they went from a 44-foot house to a, I think 36-foot house, so. So there's that. I painted out some trees they could cut that were already dead or that were gonna be killed and put in the septic in or the foundation. I attended the new LD 1829 with these folks and learned some interesting things. Inspected the septic on North Pond that we permitted, what was that, 4 weeks ago now. Inspected the Upper Sumner Hill, Marcia's daughter's house. The Heath Edwards or the Barrows Road junkyard sent the registered mail out, and he called right back immediately. He's very cooperative. He's gonna put up fencing and remove the stuff. He said when I get there, we were gonna meet this Monday, but then he couldn't make it, so we're gonna meet this coming Friday. And he's pretty adamant that he'll have almost all of it cleaned up except for the campers when I get there. But either way, he's gonna put up fencing along the road. So he seems very cooperative, so I think that's gonna work out for us. So that's what I've got.
Beautiful. Thank you, Calvin. All right, anything for open session? Psyched me out there, I'm sorry. All right, if there's nothing for open session, we have forms, reports, and correspondence. We have a building notification application listed here.
Hold on, I forgot. So, the old building notification I cannot find anywhere. So this is just a typed up, it's kind of different. I wanna make sure that everything is, that needs to be on there, is on there. That's the only one that I found in there. So I don't know if that was like a new one that was typed up or an old one.
I've got some forms. I've lost the original. I just say, make sure you don't lose the last one.
I think this looks pretty much in line with the old one. I would just note, the one thing I don't see on here is the notate mobile home dimensions for new or existing and replacement, and then the residential solar panels once approved, the planning board secretary will notify the fire department. But otherwise, yeah, so I think this, it's the same form, it's a slightly different format, so I think this is okay. I also might have, though, I have like a bunch of documents saved. I can check first too, see if it's easier for you.
Yeah, if you can find it and email it to us, that would be great.
Yeah, I can look. Does anyone else wanna look at this though, in case we end up with using this new format one? I think it's fine since the information is exactly the same, as long as we have those two pieces. I don't think there's any rule about how it's laid out with the, as long as it matches what we're already using. take a look for that and I'll see if I can find that to send over to you. But if not, I think we're okay to use that. Any thoughts on Paul for your visibility? It's exactly the same, it's just on 2 pages instead of 1, and it just needs those 2 items I mentioned added, so. Okay. Beautiful. Any new business? Kind of discussed new business already in a way. So. I don't think we have any ongoing business. All right. Do we have a motion?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do we have a fire mitigation plan for the city or for this area?
How do you mean fire bid? Like we have obviously the fire
But
department here.
obviously,
Yeah.
do we have a plan that states, we have a set mitigation program or plan for
Yes. Yes, you'd wanna talk to our EMA director, his name's Warren Lightsoe.
Okay.
He'd inform you on the plan.
Okay.
It's a comprehensive plan, he's been working on it for about 1.5 years, and he needs volunteers, so.
Yeah.
Yep. You can get his number at the town office.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I'm concerned, because being from Colorado, I know exactly what, I've seen what happens when you don't, and I don't want to see this area come up dry and.
Probably gonna get washed away first, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think fire's probably, out of the natural disasters, is probably not the one that we have to worry about the most.
Yeah.
It would be flooding, but, yep. He's been working on a comprehensive plan with his, lots of,
Okay.
so yeah, he's your contact guy for sure. Yep.
Actually, you need your number, I can give it to Warren, and then he can.
Did you-
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do a second. I'm gonna call that 6:56 p.m. We are adjourned.
Bye, Paul.
About that.
Yeah, Paul.
Bye, Bob.